Good morning, everybody. Wolf back again, AUG number 7, with my first guest speaker, go figure, is my girlfriend. I know, it's sad, but everybody welcome Teresa Beth Hughes.
Hi, guys.
So, what we're going to do today, she actually brought up a topic that she wanted to talk about in her first audio log podcast blog thing, or have me talk about, and then she decided she'd rather talk to me about it. We're going to talk about the Vow of Silence and all of its different forms, all of its different meanings and ways of being, what it means, different things. So I went and I did some research and I took a bunch of notes. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to basically read my notes and then get her opinion on certain things. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So, the vow of silence is a personal voluntary oath to refrain from speaking. There are numerous reasons to take such a vow, with many people associating the concept with expressions of religious faith. The duration depends on the purpose, with common reasons for refraining from speech including contemplation, repentance, and the desire to sacrifice, control or manipulation, political protection, and statements. Committing to not talking does not necessarily hinder communications. People should differentiate these pledges from medically or psychologically based silences. So just on the basis of what a vow is, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on the vow of silence, just as a general, not, obviously not into the depths of anything?
I think the vow of silence is a fantastic thing. It allows you to see more things. Personally, from being a shy person myself and not speaking to a lot of people for, every day before high school, you see a lot more when you don't speak. You hear a lot more, and honestly, you learn a lot more when you don't speak and you just listen to everything and anyone around you.
Very true. So, we'll go into some of the different durations for the vows. Time limits on a vow of silence vary and depend on the circumstances that bring it about. An oath to stop talking permanently is actually the least common, although some people do accept this level of commitment. Others pledge to stay quiet for a set period of time, such as a year or just a particular part of the day, while some vow to remain silent until they achieve something or a certain event takes place. Basically, they decide they're not going to talk for either a certain period of time in their life or just for, say, like 6 to 9 at night, they're not going to talk. Obviously, they have to be awake for that for it to really mean anything, but...
Yeah, that other part's called sleeping.
Yeah.
But some people do talk then, too.
Exactly, and you can't control that, so I don't think the vow of silence during your sleep should count. But, I mean, if you go about your life not talking, such as picking the permanent vow of silence, it is possible to lose your ability to speak, because your throat and the vocal cords are a muscle that lose the ability to work and ability to have control. You basically go back to how you were when you were a child. You have the mental capability of being able to move the vocal cords, but you don't have the muscle control to remember how to move the muscles in ways that form actual words. So picking a vow, while a great idea, should be kept in mind that it is a dangerous thing if one day you do plan on speaking again. So, I mean, what's your opinion on the different durations?
I know a lot of people do it for, well, not a lot of people, but some people do it for religious reasons where they go a very long time without speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be, well, at least interesting if everyone in the world tried not speaking for an hour every day. Maybe not the same hour as everyone else, but...
That would get confusing.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can still write and stuff like that, but...
Yeah.
But, I think... Imagine how humble people would be if they walked around every day, 1 hour a day, and didn't speak to anyone, and just listened.
I think on that note, it should be the same hour. There should just be 1 hour of silence.
Where everyone doesn't talk.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Whatever your time zone is, so each time zone is going to have a different hour of silence. But every hour starting at, like, noon.
Yeah.
Noon to 1. Just 1 hour of absolute silence.
That'd be hard for school.
Make it their lunch.
For an hour?
Yeah.
Schools only have 35 minutes for lunch.
Give them an extra half hour on their total schedule day.
Why not put it after school? Make it from, like, 3 to 4.
Or make it for everyone 18 and over.
Okay, that's fair. No. Kids in high school need to learn not to speak. I'm just saying. They speak too much.
If we're going as far to put an hour time limit on when people need to not talk, I think we can get away with adding an extra half hour to a school day.
Okay, fair enough.
Taking it from 2:50 to 3:30, I think we're okay with that.
I think so. Okay, fine. I agree.
But, and then just as that time zone goes around, because, I mean, when it's 1 o'clock in, say, like, Nevada or something, it's going to be 12 o'clock here. So as soon as their silence ends, our silence starts. So basically, as the day goes on, we're just going to have this wave of silence.
Thinking about that is just mind-blowing.
That would be scary.
Yeah, it would.
All right, so the different silences, greater and lesser silence. In some regions, those in cloisters or monasteries participate in what is known as greater silence. They can't speak at all during the period, which usually covers the time between an evening and morning prayers. And individuals also engage in a lesser silence, which lasts from morning to evening prayers. People may speak to or pray to convey truly critical information, like, I need you to call the cops or I'm dying, but they don't welcome unnecessary conversation. Which of the two do you think is more effective?
I don't really know. Greater silence. Explain them more.
Greater silence, it's basically... So a morning prayer is, in most religions, around 10:30, and an evening prayer is also around 10:30. So it's still a 12-hour period. But a greater silence is they can't speak at all during the time, which usually covers time between the evening and morning prayer. So from the evening to the morning prayer, they're not talking at all. So they're awake, doing something, meditating, not sleeping. They're doing something during their evenings, and they're just not talking. No, I'm sorry. Evening prayers are at 6. Night prayers are at 10:30. Evening prayers are at 6 in the afternoon. Right when it transfers over to evening. So that longer span of time from 6 in the evening to 10 in the morning the next day, they're not talking, versus the lesser silence, which is the opposite of that. It's 10 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon. It's like working a 9-to-5 job or a 5-to-9 job. Only you're either not talking from 6 to 10 or not talking from 10 to 6.
And keeping in mind what you were saying about your vocal cords, I think the greater silence is probably best. Because you can get all your work stuff out of the way, you can get all your school stuff, everything you need. And after 6, other than maybe talking to your family or something like that, unless you work night hours or something like that. I mean, obviously, these people are probably...
These are probably monks,
Tibetan,
Buddhists.
But that just gives you a time frame where you can get your stuff done during the day. And I don't know, I just think, because growing up, my mom's all like, it's 7 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock, it's time to start relaxing and stuff like that. So Vow of Silence is kind of more of a relaxing thing. No one's making really any loud noises or anything, and you can start coming down from your day.
Makes sense. The different purposes and goals, because, I mean, there are plenty of reasons to do this, but contemplation, repentance, substitute for a material sacrifice, relationship control or manipulation, which is some really fucked up shit, nonverbal communication, and then we'll get into the perception of the vow if we have time. But as far as the contemplation, when an individual takes a vow of silence, the main intent often is to promote religious contemplation. He usually believes that when a person stops talking, he's forced to look inward, like you were saying earlier, and to think about the nature of faith and his own personal beliefs. In theory, with the distractions that come with conversation gone, he is better able to concentrate on spiritual development or activities. Many individuals connect this to the idea that God or another higher power, for those not of the Judeo-Christian belief system, does not always communicate in words, and that true connection and understanding comes in moments of divine stillness. Now, you know for a fact that I'm not a religious man. I'm not a Judeo-Christian belief. I don't believe in a singular God.
And neither am I.
And, well, neither are you. But, I mean, Hindus are known for their vows of silence, known for their periods of silence. Whereas Christians, they do it, but they're not known for it. Which is something that's confused me for a while as far as the religious side of this, is why are some religions more apt to be known for their vows of silences versus religions such as being a Christian or a Catholic, where in order to become a nun, for your first 2 years of being a nun in a Catholic church in, say, Ireland or Rome, you had to take a vow of silence for 2 years. But we talk about pagan religions, such as the Tibetan monks, the Hindus, Wiccans, etc., etc. Well, they'll take vows of silences daily. It's from with most Wiccan religions, if you're taking a vow of silence, it's from 12 to 6. You just take that middle section of your day and you do nothing but meditate, and it's nothing but silence. Or Tibetan monks, some Tibetan monks, they'll abstain from speaking entirely unless it's an absolute emergency. Hindus, they have entire months at a time where they don't talk. But I mean, those are all polytheist beliefs versus the monotheist of a Judeo-Christian, where it's one God, one reason, one and blah blah blah. What's your thoughts on the contemplation for religious purposes, be it a actual religion or just a spirituality thought?
I'm not sure how to answer that. You did a lot of talking there. I'm not sure if I'm going to answer your question correctly. I'm just going to speak about
That's fine.
my views of it being a religious vow. I think it's more known with, like, pagan religions, Tibetan monks and stuff like that, because I think a lot more people, it's required more for those religions. Is it? I don't know.
It's not so much required as they're more...
They want to.
Yeah, they understand why to do it.
Whereas in, like, a Christian or a Catholic religion, if you take a vow of silence, it's more of a... it is more of a requirement for, like, nuns and stuff. So, I think it's more known with Tibetan monks because it's a choice they make. I mean, True. Nuns make the choice to become a nun, and
sometimes
and they understand that they would have to take a vow of silence, but yeah, I just think it's